Hi, I'm Taryn, the host of Most Fashionable Crime, and welcome to the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, sometimes I take deep dives. Last week I did the first video podcast, so I like to switch it up and kind of have fun on this YouTube channel. In this video, I want to take a deeper dive into Andre Leon Talley and the impact that he left on the fashion industry. So on this week's episode, which is focused on John Galliano and the rise and fall of his career, and then kind of like the rise again of his career. On the episode, I talked about how Andre Leon Talley helped secure another backer for John Galliano's label. John Galliano is probably one of the best designers of the 21st century. He's super influential. He, had made a huge impact, and he has exquisite designs. If you're unfamiliar with Andre Leon Talley, he was born in Washington, D.C., but he was raised in Durham, North Carolina by his grandmother. He graduated with a degree in French literature from North Carolina Central University, which is a historically black college or university in Durham, North Carolina, where he was raised. He then went on to attend Brown University on scholarship, where he received a master's degree in French literature. If you haven't read any of his books or read any of his work, I recommend reading his memoir, The Chiffon Trenches, that was released in 2020. If you have a library card, you can also listen to the audiobook for free, and I can't remember if it's Libby or Hoopla, but it's one of the two. Andre Leon held many titles. He was an editor, a journalist, a stylist, a creative director. He wore many hats within the fashion industry, and reading his books, reading his words, reading and watching interviews with him, he played a huge impact on the fashion industry. And this is a black man from the South. Like, he didn't go to FIT, he didn't study fashion. His segue into the fashion industry was by way of an apprenticeship, an unpaid apprenticeship with Diane Vreeland at the Met Museum. He made such a great impression on Vreeland that she set his career in fashion into motion. So while reading The Chiffon Trenches and listening to it, I noticed that Andre Leon Talley was at so many pinnacle moments of fashion. He was a curator of so many moments in fashion, and then a lot of these moments in fashion would not have occurred without him. So I feel like we talk so much about other people that are big in the fashion industry, but not enough about him. Andre Leon Talley was partly responsible for reviving John Galliano's career. He did that along with Anna Wintour. And I believe it's said that Anna Wintour, she herself has mentioned that she owes a lot of her fashion knowledge to Andre Leon Talley. And as I mentioned in other episodes, that Anna Wintour can really make or break the career of fashion designers. And I wanted to mention that even Rick Owens has said that Andre Leon Talley has helped make his career by introducing him to Anna Wintour. So Andre Leon Talley has played a huge role in the fashion industry, and if you don't know, Rick Owens is huge. He also mentored Michelle Obama, and when it comes to fashion, Serena Williams. I want to say another designer that he helped was Laquan Smith. So Andre Leon Talley, ALT, leaves behind a huge legacy. He's helped push the careers of black models, black designers. Like, I know for me, being a fashion designer from the South, like, he's someone that, I admired. Andre Leon Talley worked the red carpet of the Met for years, and at some point that just stopped. It's mentioned in the book if you want more information on that. I don't want to give away like all the details, but you can read up on it if you want to. After he stopped working the Met and interviewing people, his presence was noticed, at least for people that do follow fashion and, like to hear people that are real versed in the industry know about like textiles, stitching, seam work, that kind of thing. It is really nice to have someone that is knowledgeable about that type of thing, and like even like history. Andre Leon Talley knew history, like his fashion history and knowledge was just like incredible. So to have someone that has that type of knowledge, that breadth of understanding of what goes into fashion was super. It was a learning experience for me just watching the interview. So that relationship was dissolved. The absence of his presence was felt for, me, just a surveyor, a watcher of the Met Gala red carpet. I just kind of wanted to show my appreciation to Andre Leon Talley in this YouTube video. I also wanted to highlight the impact that he had on the fashion industry and the legacy that he has left in the fashion industry for those that are just unfamiliar, because I do know a good amount of people that listen to the podcast are not working in the fashion industry or just not as knowledgeable about the fashion industry, which is, you know, understandable. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of highlight him in this episode and kind of go into a deeper dive into him and, you know, like impact that he had on the fashion industry. I highly recommend reading interviews that he's had. I will link some in the description box. There's the documentary, The Gospel According to Andre. He's been featured in different documentaries around fashion. Fashion is very interesting. Like, whether you want to admit it or not, it's interesting. Like, just, it's history, it's art, you know. So I highly recommend looking more into his life and his legacy. So thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for an update on how the future season will go. This is the last episode of the season, if you have not noticed, and I will be restructuring it a bit, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for finishing this season. Be sure to share the podcast with anyone you think may like it. Be sure to share this YouTube channel with people you think may like it. Make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast and the YouTube channel first and foremost. And just thank you for such a great season.